Book of 2nd Esdras, 5th chapter, starting at the first verse. Now concerning the signs, behold, the days are coming when those who dwell on the earth shall be seized with great terror, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall become barren of faith, and unrighteousness shall increase beyond what you yourself see, and beyond what you've heard formerly. And the land which you now see ruling shall be waste and untrodden, and men shall see it desolate. But if the Most High grant that you live, you shall see it thrown into confusion after the third period. And the sun shall suddenly shine forth at night, and the moon during the day. Blood shall drip from the wood, and the stone shall utter its voice, and people shall be troubled, and the stars shall fall. And one shall reign whom those who dwell on the earth do not expect, and the birds shall fly away together, and the sea of Sodom shall cast up fish, and one whom the many do not know shall make his voice heard by night, and all shall hear his voice. There shall be chaos also in many places, and fire shall often break out, and the wild beasts shall roam beyond their haunts, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, and the salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall conquer one another. Then shall reason hide itself, and wisdom shall withdraw into its chamber, and shall be sought of many, but shall not be found. And unrighteousness and unrestraint shall increase on the earth. And one country shall ask its neighbor, has righteousness or anyone who does right passed through you? And it will answer, no. And at that time men shall hope but not attain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. These are the signs which I am permitted to tell you. And if you pray again and weep as you do now, and fast for 7 days, you shall hear yet greater things than these. Then I awoke, and my body shuddered violently, and my soul was so troubled that it fainted. But the angel who had come and talked with me held me and strengthened me and set me on my feet.
Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. It's your brother DL, Elder Youngman for those that follow online. The name of tonight's message is The New Drug of Choice. The New Drug of Choice. So brothers and sisters, I think that what the Father's pushing me to do is to continue to speak about this fierce nation that was prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, surrounding this nation and the feast that this nation just had to give thanks for the blood of Northern Kingdom Hebrews, the blood of Southern Kingdom Hebrews, and this land, not the promised land, but the land of promise, spoken of in the second stick. In sticking with that theme, just really getting into how deep the quote-unquote racism is. And I don't really like using that term racism because it's everywhere. It's kind of it's like salt that's lost its savor. It's like salt that if you put it on a wound, it doesn't even sting the wound anymore. There's really no shame involved with someone being racist at this point. They try to take it and spin it around, and they play with the words and all of that. I'm not a racist, and they can sit there with a Confederate flag and tell you they're not racist. So really it's more the hatred that's built up in this ruling Gentile class, that's just a product of how they're built, a product of that seed of fire that's in them that they receive from the angels. Okay? So really, when we look at how this nation was formed, when we look at the mentality of the people, the laws of the land, we realize that we weren't really ever intended to have any rights here. Okay? That's why, again, I mentioned it in one of the previous messages. That's why they won't prosecute, Uncle Buck and all of them, because, Uncle Buck was just doing what he was deputized to do. It was under the law. So when we think about white supremacy, okay, we tend to want to do what the society does right now. We tend to want to look at extremes. We tend to want to look at, them folks over there in Charlottesville, with the tiki torches and all that sort of stuff. And the funny thing is, they would tell you they're not racist. They were just, standing up for their country, trying to take their country back from whoever. I mean, it doesn't really matter that, it's all stolen to begin with, but I guess the idea now is that, they don't want anybody to steal it back from them. That's they won't say that because there's no truth in them. But the truth is, everything that they talk about that they're trying to defend, they stole. This country was formed as a occupying foreign entity on land that they conquered, that they stole. So really, our perception of, being born here, is that this is actually a country, that this is actually, a nation, built on a land. But then we come to realize that, through things that we see that happen with the police, we see things that happen with the military, and with the possession of property, and if you spend any time on a reservation, you realize that this is an occupying foreign nation. Okay, this government that they've set up here, it is a militaristic occupation of this land by a foreign invader. So the white folks know this, okay? Don't ever let any white person try to tell you that they don't understand that this is an occupation. This is this is no different than the situation over there in Israel, where, that foreign Gentile nation moved in there, took some land, and is aggressively holding that land like it's actually theirs. And it's not. They've stolen our identity, and now they're over there occupying our land. But anyway, that's the denial that these white folks are under. This whole thing of living over here like they did not sacrifice lakes and pools and oceans of blood is beginning to wear on them, because the fathers changed the spirit on the inside of their children. Okay, their children are sensitive to what they've done. They hate their parents. There's an outright war in the houses of these Gentiles, especially the ones that are hyper partisan, like a Kellyanne Conway. Her whole thing with her daughter is just indicative of what the Father's doing in the hearts of these people's children. Okay? So what you see going on now is where they deal with us, they try to keep a united front. They try to act like, they don't feel the weight of the Father's judgment on them for what they've done over here. And, they just try to keep that part going. They want to keep us deceived. But in the background, you see drug addiction. You see drug overdoses. You see the use of fentanyl. You see the use of OxyContin. You see that all over the country they're legalizing things that they would never legalize, like marijuana. They're doing all kinds of things to dull that pain. And I mean, it's a two-level pain. It's a spiritual pain that they try to deny. And then on top of that, it manifests itself in their physical bodies, where they have pain, they have back pain, they have pain in the head, they have pain all through their neck. They have all of the curses of Deuteronomy, the smiting of the knees and the joints and all of that stuff, and they've got it double for double because they brought down the wrath of the Most High upon them, right? So you see drug addiction and you see suicide amongst the Gentiles that's just through the roof. They did a lot of exposés on it for a while, while they were trying to get people to sympathize with them for what they were going through. It's a horrible problem, crystal meth. It's a horrible problem. Again, just that hypocrisy of where now that the condition that they tried to put on us with the crack cocaine addiction has been turned on them. So now they want sympathy. So you see the use of alcohol, you see the use of drugs, you see the resorting of violence, you see them buck wilding in the flesh, like doing all kinds of crazy sexual stuff to the point where you see it in their flesh. If you see things spiritually, you can see that flesh is just rotting on their bones. Okay, and that effect you see a lot in a lot of Israelites as well, resorting to all of this physicality. And I can speak on that for a minute, but that's really not what I want to cover here. So the new drug of choice, the new drug that's killing them, is not fentanyl. It's not crystal meth. It's not the prescription stuff. All of that is a side effect of the real drug that's truly killing this Gentile rulership. And that drug, the biggest addiction that you see that they have now is denial. Brothers and sisters, we are witnessing the effects of the Most High's judgment going up in volumes upon the Gentiles, to the point where just their own history has become so abhorrent to them, along with the fact that their children now, the father's taken that numbness off of their children, where they look at, okay, wait a minute, but didn't we massacre these people? Didn't we murder these people? Didn't our great granddaddies rape these women and had these bastard children? And didn't we try to wipe them off of the face of the earth? And see, brothers and sisters, they're putting two and two together, and that John Brown spirit is what's showing up in their children. And they know what this means. They know what this is. It's a sign. They understand that this is a sign of their end. So they understand what it means, but instead of repentance, instead of a spirit that says that submits to the scriptures, like what they claim, that they carry Bibles around, they sit up in churches all the time, they want to pontificate about our word, about our history, like they know it better than us. They want to regurgitate it back to us. Instead of doing what that book actually says, instead of submitting to what that book calls for, they just go into deep denial. And they lie to themselves about their own position in the book. They want to assume leadership. They want to call themselves the new Israelites. The lies the denial just continues on and on and on and on. But brothers and sisters, we have to understand, for our sanity, okay, we have to understand that what we've looked at and called white supremacy is more than just the extreme. Okay, we have to understand that there are people, not necessarily folks that would go and burn a cross on your front lawn, or call you a nigger, or try to physically harm you. That's the extreme. That's that flaming white supremacist, right? That hate-filled, poor, besides themselves with the idea that this country is going to give something to another group of people that it's not giving to them. So they're overt about how they should be out front, how nobody should get anything except them. Okay, but you got to realize white supremacy happens in degrees. And why do I say that? I say that because our narrow view does not encompass the truth of what white supremacy actually is in this country. You really have to look at the fact that this country's we've been here for 400 years, right? And, this country somehow has figured out how not to pay reparations for what these folks have done to us. Now, don't think for a minute that Brother DL, Elder Young Manasseh Ben Yahuda, is saying that we should be fighting to get reparations from people that don't have any sort of shame to them. A people that is not a people. People that don't have any sort of empathy to them. Don't think for a second that's what this ministry or this message is about. What I'm pointing out is that a just people, a sane people, a people that is literal, that is actually grounded in that book that they try to carry around and try to reteach back to us, that a just people would have done this anyway. Okay? Now, even if these folks showed up one day and said, hey, we want to pay reparations to you, I would be the one to say, no, thank you. No, that's okay. But what I'm trying to tell you is those that would vote in the same party that seems like they have your interests at heart. There are many, the majority of those folks that would vote the way you would vote, they don't support making reparation to you, to the children of quote unquote slaves. They feel that they've done enough for Native Americans by letting them run casinos. And what they don't tell you is that it's recognized tribes. It's not, just every Native American out there. It's recognized tribes. And generally, when you go and you study what a recognized tribe is a tribe where the white man has put his seed into the women and created a whole race of their children. A recognized tribe is a tribe that got rid of their indigenous leadership. The chiefs of the tribes look just like us initially, and then the policies of the tribe were not to promote those with mixed blood into the leadership of the tribe. But basically what they did is they used a welfare sort of a system where if they shunned that leadership, then the tribe could be recognized. Then the tribe could have federal benefits. Then the tribe could have contracts to build liquor, they could get liquor licenses, and then they could also build casinos on their own land. See, brothers and sisters, look, this is a fierce nation. It is a nation run by those that do not have the breath of the Most High on the inside of them. So they are humanoid animals, essentially. They do what they need to do to survive. If they are not born again, if the spirit on the inside of them is not denounced, and they've come and they've denounced the spirit on the inside of them, and they've also denounced this country and how it was built. They have to denounce all of that and then ask. They have to submit to the Most High and to the branches of the Most High. And then through that branch, they can be reborn. They can receive a new spirit. And you can always tell when they haven't done that, because they always want to try to take leadership up over you. They always want to come get up in your face and tell you something about the Most High that you come from. You can always tell. So brothers and sisters, look, it's a fierce nation. It's a nation. It's a people that is not a people. What the scripture is trying to tell us is that they don't have breath on the inside of them. And now that the Father's judgment is upon them, they have gone into the deepest denial. They've gone into, because the choice is clear. It's repent and be reborn or not. And a lot of them have chosen not. And they've driven themselves crazy. They've gone to the extremes of lying to themselves and lied to us. So brothers and sisters, that's the new drug of choice. That's the new thing that gets them high. That's the thing that gets them off now. That's the thing that they want to come spitting in your face. That's the thing that they take to these school meetings, telling people, hey, we don't want to learn about what it was our ancestors did. Tell us something good. They don't want their own history. So they are high on that denial. And anything or anyone that gets in the way of that denial, white, black, brown, or whatever, gets the Kyle Rittenhouse treatment. So brothers and sisters, my main point is this. You need to broaden your definition and your thought about what a white supremacist is. When you go in and you Google white supremacy, what you see is a bunch of racists, a bunch of Klan members, Aryan Nation, all of that sort of stuff. What you're looking at is the extreme. But what you have to realize is that that banker that probably votes Democrat, sitting in the bank, looking at your loan application, and you are even more qualified than somebody that looks like the banker, but they deny your loan, that's a white supremacist. These people that go in and evaluate the value of houses, you know, and see a black person's picture on the stand, on the mantle, and then go and chop $500,000 off the price of the house, that's a white supremacist. Folks that have stolen land, stolen the land, kept it for 200-300 years, and has kept the land a ridiculous amount of time, made a ridiculous amount of money, turn around and, let's give the land back. Okay, you're going to give the land back, but are you going to give them any of the profits that were made off of the stolen land? Because that's their money. So the folks that are just giving the land back and not trying to even compensate them for what they would have made if they owned that land, or their net worth, what their net worth would have been if they owned that land, that's a white supremacist. And why do I say that? I say that because from a financial perspective, from a real world perspective, in a capitalist society where it is necessary to have capital to thrive in a society, any person, regardless of whether they vote with you, regardless of whether it just abhors them that some of the people that look like them would call you a nigger or would burn a cross on you, they're still white supremacists. Why? Because in order to break white supremacy, there has to be the ability to participate in the capitalist system. And nobody wants that. Nobody. Nancy Pelosi is not going to pay you guys. Is not going to pay out no reparations. Chuck Schumer, he's not going to pay out no reparations. Look, a white supremacist is anybody that has a problem with putting you truly on a level playing field with them. So that means anybody that is against land grants for black people, like their word for white folks, making reparation to Native Americans, anybody. And you got to understand, that's a lot of people. That's probably most of the folks that you call friends that are white folks. Most white people do not support reparations. So what am I telling you? Barack Obama supports white supremacy. Kamala Harris supports white supremacy because they don't support reparations. Joe Biden is a white supremacist. Why? Because he will never make reparations for what this country's done, for what this country stole. There's not one Democrat in power that is going to make it their life point to see that this country makes reparation for what it did to our ancestors. So they are white supremacists. And brothers and sisters, again, let me make sure that y'all understand. I'm not in any way, shape, or form advocating that they should change their minds. Why? Because of the fact that it is scripture that nobody will repay. That is written. I don't want jack from them. I want my reparation to come from the Most High. I want the full judgment of the Most High to fall on these nasty, wicked devils. That's what I want. That's where my mind is. I will continue to work for wages until the day I die. I ain't even got to retire. I want it all to fall on them. I don't want jack from them. I don't want any of this blood money from them. If I can't work for it, I don't want it. So understand, what I'm telling you is that a public policy, I don't expect a public policy on it, but if I see a public policy on it, I'm going to know that there's some mess. But brothers and sisters, that is their new drug of choice. That is the new thing that keeps them giddy and happy. It dulls them out, is denying your history, denying that they are the fourth kingdom, denying that you are the Hebrews of the Bible. That's what the whole CRT talking point is about, and that's why it gains so much traction. So brothers and sisters, that's my time. Brother DL is out. As always, I love you all. Shalom.